Ahoy!
Welcome back to Girl Historians.
I'm Carly.
I'm Blair.
And this is the comedy podcast where we talk about history and our girls.
And Sophia's here, Carly's cat.
Yup. It's a complicated situation.
Mm-hmm.
I always wonder because she was very much living with me when I started YouTube. If people are ever like, where did she go? If I'm like Lena Dunham, like people are like, Carly's missing animals. You know what I mean? Like, what's the story there?
And that is such a thing with influencers where they just get animals.
They just get animals
disappear.
and they disappear, and you're like, where did they go?
So what happened to that?
It's so absolutely baffling to me, and I'm not huge on like snark, like online snark. I understand it, but I think to really participate in it, sometimes it's actually just bad for you. Like I think it's very bad for your soul. But I'm like, we should do a little bit of snarking if there's influencers who are abusing animals or children or missing animals. Like, you know what I mean? There is a benefit to that. And
yes.
So Sophia was my cat. Backstory. I got her when I was like 11 or something. And we thought she was 2, but she ended up being 5. So what's you do the math on that? She's 20, maybe 18. But spring,
oh my God.
A spring chicken. So she lived with me, and then I went to university. I couldn't take a cat with me to university. So then she stayed at home, and I have a younger sister, and she got really, really
close. Which is
bullshit,
by the way.
I know.
You should be able to take your cat to university.
And then she got really close with my sister, and I didn't want to take her away from my sister, so I would just visit her, whatever. But then my sister moved into my building, so now I would go and check on her a bunch and get to see her a bunch. And if she ever went out of town, she'd come and stay with me. And my sister is directing a play this week, and it's been so crazy. And she's like, I'm never going to be home this week. Do you just want to take her for a week? And now she's here, and I love her. I'm going to be so pissed when she goes. I just want her to live here. She's so sweet.
She is amazing, and she just sits on your. She's not doing it now, but every time I called you, other than this, she's been sitting like on your neck.
Yeah, she wants. I looked it up. Why? Because I was like, this is very strange. Because she doesn't want to just sit on my chest when I lie down, like you said. Like she wants to lie across my neck, and it's like a breathing kind of thing. Like it's like it reminds them of being a kitten, like their mom's heartbeat and breath. But then also she feels like she can sleep because I'm big and strong. Only thing in the entire world that's ever thought I was big and strong. Where she's like, I can sleep because she'll protect me.
Oh my God.
Because the complicated thing in Sophia's brain is I'm Sophia's mom, but Katie, my sister, is Sophia's baby.
That's so cute.
So it's a really complicated dynamic. But I think it's nice because she gets to come here and just relax.
Yeah, she gets to have a mother.
I'm gonna miss her so much when
she's
she's gone. She's mothering.
You should just steal her, not to be like
I want to.
You shouldn't disappear cats, but
bro, I want to. I want to steal her. I love her so much. She's a very strong woman. She had a litter of kittens because she was rescued from a hoarding situation.
Oh my God.
And she was so sweet when we saw her in the shelter. Another cat hit her in the face, and she just kept being like so sweet.
Did you get her when you were in the States?
Yeah. She's from Maryland.
Whoa.
It's a place called Cats R Us, which is one of those random cat rescue places where you're like, oh, I'm going to go to the shelter today. And then it's like a shed in someone's backyard kind of vibes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think and the woman who ran it had Sophia living in her house for a long time. I was like, I wish I could keep her, but like I can't keep her.
Oh.
And she's very kind. I love her.
Yeah. Cat adoption situations are always the craziest things you've ever heard in your life.
Oh, it's always there's no cat that's been rescued, or even like I feel like even how you got Jim, but it's like there's no cat that has like a normal. I feel like a lot of dogs can just be like, oh, I just got the dog. It's like every cat has a tale to be told. They have a story.
These are just so random. Like even my sister like adopted her cat from this like cat adoption place that just like they're an organization, but they just send the cats to random PetSmarts.
Yeah,
so she just picked up her cat at like a big box store. It's really strange. I'm just like, yeah, I guess that's better than a shed in someone's backyard. But like, what the hell?
I know. It's very. I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to be. I always wonder about that because I'm always like, are they just overnight there in the pet store?
They must be. Like, how scary is that? It's like night at the museum, but it's the cats are
and
all here.
all the bags of dog food and the dog toys come alive at night.
It's so scary.
But I know I really want to steal her. I'm feeling like it'll be okay because Katie is again starting university and she's very, very busy. So I feel like I can be like, hey.
Wow.
But I don't want to get another cat while Sophia's alive just in case, something were to happen where she'd have to live with us. I don't want that to be a problem, but I want her staying here now has been like, oh my God, it's reawoken my like obsession and need.
Yeah.
It's so nice when you work from home, and you know this probably too, because like so much of your work is from home, just to have somebody hanging around.
Oh God, yeah, it's amazing. And just like to have someone to come home to, like in like the cats there.
It really is. I remember reading a New York Times modern love essay, which are like essays that they do about different kinds of love. And somebody was talking about, it was about a dog, but there really is something, I think it applies to cats too, of like, he was like, some days I would like enter the house twice because it was just so nice to have somebody be like, you're here. Oh my God,
that's so
you're here.
sweet.
Because that's how I always feel like when people are like, famously love my mother more than anything. She did famously say that she had kids to have unconditional love, and I was like, that's so fucked
cool.
up.
That's
is
a cool
insane
way to look at kids.
And I was saying to her, I was like, that's not. And she's understood it now. Like she was just like, oh yeah, when I was young and dumb, that's what I thought. But now she's realized that that's not true. And I was like, children's love is like conditional. Like very conditional.
Yeah,
and that's
one of
fine.
the most
like,
conditional things.
Like conditional love, I think, is healthy and good, like in a way, right? Of being like, you can't just treat me that way. But an animal's love, basically barring mistreatment, is like, you're here. Animals don't care if you're a narcissist.
No. Animals are like, it's awesome that you're in the house.
I'm so happy
that
you're
you're
here.
giving me kibble.
Can I smell your hand?
Can I smell you? Please, please, please. Can I smell you? Oh my God, no. On that note, though, Katie did a site-specific
oh my God, let's
play
talk.
that was an okay, let me get this straight. It was a site-specific adaptation of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar set in a frat house in the modern day.
Yeah,
and
if you're in Toronto,
so fun.
It was so fucking good. Me and Blair went to Invited Dress.
Very swanky of us.
Very
by
swanky
the way.
of us. Yeah, I just want you guys to know that we are getting invites to things. Okay.
Yeah.
Their company is called, it's her and her girlfriend, which we love. Theater power couple.
Cute.
They run a company, their like production or theater company is called Sheep's Clothing. So you could find that on Instagram if you're interested in what they're doing next, because it'll be done by the time this comes up and the run sold out. But yeah, it's like at a University of Toronto frat house. And it's like a Julius Caesar, but like in the aesthetic kind of almost of like Dead Poet Society, where it's like a frat, but not like a frat bro frat, like a weird kind of like tradition. Everybody's in suits.
You made a good comparison to The Secret History. I thought that was a really good comparison.
History. And it's literally Julius Caesar. So you can walk in and like Sleep No More, whatever, follow the different people. Like you walk in and Julius Caesar is giving a speech and there's all the characters there. And then you can just follow the characters and they do different scenes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was genuinely like surprised that it was as fantastic as it was. I thought it was really well acted, really well written.
Yeah, it was
really
so
well directed. I went the night after we went together because I had gotten a ticket before. Blair had gotten us an invite to an Invited Dress. And
I got the invite to Invited Dress.
yes.
Nice.
And then I was like, well, I'm coming to it. If Blair's coming to Invited Dress, I'm coming to Invited Dress.
Gotta show up.
Yeah. And I did what we had talked about, where I was like, okay, this time I'm going to follow Brutus.
Nice. How was that?
Time of my life. I think that was the best track to follow. If you aren't familiar with Shakespeare's Julius Caesar and history, I'll say it.
And I'll say it. I believe it happened in real life too.
And the guy who created July might be, let's say it. It's basically about this guy who's going to become emperor after a successful kind of victory or whatever, right? And then as he's becoming emperor, people are afraid that he's going to be too corrupt, right?
Yeah.
I read it in high school, so he's going to be a tyrant. And then Cassius, who's this kind of jealous person, is like, I'm going to take him down. We have to create a conspiracy to take him down, and then enlists like all of Caesar's kind of like inner circle and Caesar's best friend Brutus and all these people to take him down. Let's say that. So I followed Brutus, who's like his close friend, but who ends up kind of betraying him. And it was so much fun because you get to see so much like kind of conspiracy happening. Reese really liked it, and Reese really does not like immersive theater because he went to York for theater, so he kind of hates.
Yeah, nothing will kill your love for immersive theater like a theater degree.
Yes, exactly. So he was like, and he went to Sleep No More and famously spent most of it in a room alone reading documents, which is a very men thing to do. Apparently, I talked to your former roommate, who I know from also doing comedy. She worked at Sleep No More a while ago. It's like one of the people in like the masks.
Yes,
you know what I mean. That's just like, you can't go here. come this way or whatever. And she was like, that's just how so many guys are in Sleep No More. It's like they don't follow, because the real thing to do with an immersive theater thing is just kind of like take it in. You're like, I'm not going to get it all. I'm just kind of here to see some interesting things, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
But like there's a real kind of traditionally, let's say, male instinct to solve, right? So it's like, oh, it's a puzzle to be solved, when it's not. It's not. 'Cause it's a production.
Yes.
But I was very, very impressed. I thought I would like it because I like immersive theater and I love Shakespeare, and because Katie's like me, kind of, right? So it's like when Katie makes stuff, I'm like, oh, I like this because it's literally made for me because you made it.
Yeah.
Like our interests are
same
very
interests.
similar. But I thought it was really well done. The second night I went, I was like, okay, I'm going to try and see different things. Like I was like, I bet when the big scenes go on, there's shit happening in other parts of the house that I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to try and do. So I left during the big kind of like drowning stuff and went upstairs. I followed Katie and Brianna, so my sister Katie and her girlfriend Brianna, who are the director and writer of the show, and went to the room where they play like jazzy music.
Oh, nice.
And the two girls were just slow dancing while the jazzy music played. And it was literally just me, Brianna, and Katie in the room alone. So it was me and the two creators watching this while the big scene happens downstairs. And a separate time, I saw Calpurnia, and Calpurnia goes on the balcony and does the actual Calpurnia monologue in like Shakespearean English to no one, basically. Me and Kate, just me and Katie watching. I was like, damn. Cool. So it was very interesting. Easter egg. It was very, very funny to be like, it's just me here. Like, it's funny. That's the fun thing about immersive, and we're doing that like immersive improv show this week that I want to do more of like, I'm doing a scene here for no one. I want to actually not have a big crowd watching whatever I'm doing. I want to have two people watching.
Yeah.
And Reese was saying, because I was telling him that, and he was like, well, at backstage, there was a point where it was just me, Brendan, and Ben. And they were just doing the scene. It was just Brendan and Ben basically just doing a scene to me, catering it entirely to me. And I was like, I like this.
No, I'm excited for that in that way. But yeah, immersive theater is very cool. I feel like when I was in university, I saw a lot of immersive theater that was good, but it was like very much like, we're doing a play and it's in a crazy place.
Yes.
Or I went to this one place where it was like, it was kind of cool, but it was a one-woman show of like this historical figure from Kingston, Ontario. I can't remember her name, but it was like in this like old pub in Kingston that had been there for like 200 years. And she just kind of monologued in the room. And I was like, this is cool, but like, this is kind of nothing. This is just like an uncomfortable environment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, yeah, when I did my theater degree, I was like very obsessed with like space and what it meant. And I was like very, very clocked in on thinking about the space and putting a show in there. Just like the, significance of putting like a theater play on in a frat house is very interesting in itself.
Totally.
But I also ran into my 3 friends there who beforehand I was like, what are the odds that Paul and Steph will be at this thing? And then obviously they were there. Which was very funny.
Them. I've met Steph before, and I think I've met Paul before, but I've never really talked to Paul. He great. Is so lovely. I know Steph to be lovely because I've met her before, but like Paul was also so lovely.
Yeah, they're
I followed him on Instagram afterwards. I was like, that's a Carly Thorne follow.
That's a Carly Thorne follow. Get that. No, but they're really cool, and they think about theater in a really cool way. So I would really suggest, Steph is kind of like an up-and-coming critic, like an up-and-coming theater critic, which is very cool. And I want to find...
she runs the youth theater whatever.
Yeah. But she also
youth theater reviewer, whatever.
Yeah, the young reviewers out of the Toronto Fringe. But she's also started a where is it? She started a like a critic, like a theater criticism Instagram.
Ooh,
recently, and it's really cool. I want to find the name of it, because if you're like in Toronto and into that stuff, I think it's very cool. Because like if you're plugged in any which way, the kind of like lack of theater criticism is kind of insane.
Yes, it is really, really nuts. Like, there's no way around it. And I'm not a person that's like, criticism obviously I think can be tough, and I think that sometimes people take too much joy in tearing things down. And I think that is a problem with theater criticism, especially if you think of like the theater critics at the New York Times. It's like they're reviewing shows that are not intended for them, that they would never like as a person, and they have an inability to remove their tastes from criticism, which is bad criticism.
Yes.
But that has then bleeded into there's not a lot of criticism, period. Like we talked about her before on the podcast, but I love Andrea Long Chu, who does literary criticism generally for New York Magazine. And I remember in an interview with her, she said, like, when I'm doing criticism, I want to argue with you. I don't want to hit you with my car. Like,
yes,
I criticize to have a conversation. I don't criticize to kill. So when I'm so she writes a lot of criticism about like Ocean Vuong, Hanya Yanagihara, Zadie Smith, like huge literary titans that will be fine regardless of the criticism, because the point isn't to like bitch slap a debut author into never performing again or like never writing again. The point is to be like, criticism is such an art. And when it's done well, you don't have to agree with it to be like, this is really interesting.
No, and like criticism too should tell you like one person's criticism of something could imply to you that you'd actually might be like a fan of this work, depending on your taste.
Yeah, being like, I don't like it when this happens, but you might like this kind of thing.
But yeah, Steph's thing is called submerging artist.
Ooh, okay.
There's no E in merging. Submerging artist, and I think it's just submerging artist spelt the right way.ca.
Okay, I'm following.
So
follow back.
Interesting.
Team follow back.
Team follow back.
And if you're interested in what Katie is doing, it's Sheep's Clothing Theater on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow that.
Yeah,
I follow Brianna.
Huge.
Yeah.
They just had another thing at the Hamilton Fringe that was just a show about 4 vaudevillian chorus girls. I don't know what the play was beyond that, but it's genuine. I'm like, damn. But it was, if they do a remount of Blood Brothers, I can, which is the Julius Caesar set in a frat house, secret history vibes. I can, I'll post about it, or if you want to just message me being like, let me know on Instagram, I'll let you know if it ever happens.
Yeah, we'll do one of those, like, what are those, like, scammy trips where, like, I got emailed about this recently.
Oh, like, oh my God, what the fuck is it called? I know exactly what you're
because I was like, you're emailing me about this? Like, how desperate are you guys?
It's not like Vanta trips, but it's something like that where it's like,
it's something like that.
Our followers are coming on a trip to Italy with me and Blair. Guys, if you pay $5,000, we get to go to Italy for free, and maybe we'll hang out with you, or maybe not.
Yeah, we're going to pick activities for you to do, and then we're probably maybe going to do them or not do them with you.
Yeah.
And it's $5,000, by the way. And yeah, I got an email about that. I was like, who was sitting there respectfully looking at Instagram and going like, this girl has the pull to do a Berlin trip.
This is the girl who needs to get her followers to Berlin. We need the girls to go to Berlin ASAP.
Yeah. But I think we should do one of those trips, but for an immersive theater piece only.
Yeah, hard agree. Mm-hmm. We're going to an immersive theater production experience.
Yeah, exactly.
It really kind of shook me back into like a dark academia mind space, because it was the aesthetics were really on point. They were also just fantastic actors. It's so funny for me to now be at the age where 26 is not old at all, but I can see somebody who's like 20 who looks like a child to me, and they're like acting their fucking ass off, and I'm like, damn, okay.
Huh?
Like, it was so funny because we went to Katie's birthday and all the kids who were in the show were there, so goofy and whatever. And then they're like screaming at each other in the play, like they're acting their asses off.
Work.
I was talking. I know. You go.
No, go ahead. I
was gonna say, I was talking to Reese about it because the actor who played Julius Caesar at one point was like said a joke that like didn't really land. It was like, oh well, sorry, I guess that's like, was embarrassed that it didn't land to me and Reese, I guess, because we do comedy. And then we saw the show and he was fucking fantastic. And we were like, hey man, I was like, we should go up to him and be like, hey man, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that joke. You're
very good at yelling.
You're good at this. Don't worry.
Yeah. It made me want to be back in college in a really twisted way.
Yeah. In an unhealthy way.
Yeah. Because I was like, damn, I did not take full advantage of what I could have been doing. Mm-hmm. In terms of my outfits, you know?
Oh, definitely.
I really wish that I had been at theater school, like, 2 or 3 years later than I actually was.
Yeah.
In a way. Well, also I don't, because then it would have been
the pandemic.
The pandemic.
but
entirely the pandemic, let's say.
Yeah.
I just felt like thinking kind of changed after I graduated.
Yeah, I think
because,
that's true.
A lot of things that I was saying when I was in my undergrad were all of a sudden like these kind of like, not to be like, oh my God, I was so ahead of my time. But I was like, what the hell, guys? Like, I was saying that the whole time and people were making fun of me. And now you guys are all agreeing on it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off.
But I think that might just be like a failure of theater school, period. Of like, if you were in theater school later saying the same thing, you'd be saying different things, that they just disagree with you, period. To disagree with you.
I'm just a contrarian for life.
Yeah, babe. You're going to be ahead of the curve. You're Van Gogh. Okay?
Exactly.
That's just going to be your story. I wanted to tell you before we start the one thing, because they did a couple of different directing things. Things changed.
Oh,
from invited dress till opening night. So, in the beginning when Octavius is like dancing and drinking and vaping before the show kind of starts, he's in like the back corner now. There's less music. I understand that in the sense that they need something to be going on back there during when people are coming in. Otherwise, it's the scariest back corner in the world. And at the very end, it really clicked for me. So, at the very end, Mark Anthony is like looks around, kind of has a panic attack after he's then like usurped Caesar, and is like, he looks around, he's like, get out, and he starts screaming, get out of here, get out of here. And then he's at the top of the stairs, just kind of having like a panic attack, screaming, get out. Everyone kind of leaves. So get out. He's in the center of the circle, because we're all kind of circled around, right? Because that's where the main scene is happening. And he sees us. He looks and he can see us now, the audience. He sees that we've seen what they've done. Goes, get out, to us. But instead of going to the top of the stairs, goes in basically next to the front door and is on his like hands and knees, like having a panic attack in a ball, screaming, get out. And you have to walk past him out the front door while it's happening. Crazy
tea.
But I loved seeing it the second time to realize that. I was like, oh, fuck. He's seeing. I was like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to do that. I don't want to walk past that. But I was like, fuck, he's seeing us.
Yeah.
See what they've done. He was a great actor. I think his name was Kayon.
Yes.
He was so really fucking great.
He was awesome. He also sat at the beginning of the show, like in a bedroom alone, staring at a wall, playing a video of himself. And the way that Carly and I sat in that room for 20 minutes waiting for something to happen, nothing happened.
Nothing happened. We walked in and we were like, okay, we're going to get a lay of the land. And Katie had told me, like, go to the second floor. That's where I think some of the best stuff happens. And people don't really go to the second floor. So where did I go in?
Carly beelined upstairs, by the way.
Yeah, I take immersive theater very seriously. I was upstairs. Like, let's go. And the show doesn't really start for another half an hour. Like, the characters kind of mill about, but they're basically doing improv, which is so funny, because I was like, I should start making money offering theater companies to teach them how to do kind of more natural improv, of just being like, talk about what you see, be a little bit more natural. So we're walking in and we walk up and we just hear like music, like kind of big band, like wah, 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 like music. We're like, oh fuck, let's go in that room. It's a room with all the lights off, big projection on the wall of the room. So it's up. So it's Mark Anthony, depressed, watching a projection of himself overlaid with images of a party. And so we walked in and I was like, oh yeah, something's about to happen in here. Like, this room, shit's about to happen. No. Yeah. We just sat there for 20 minutes and then left, and then the show started.
Yeah.
Just me, like, I'm him glad in a room
got
alone.
That experience.
And that's
the way
what
he was probably
so
pissed off. It's like, oh, I probably thought I'd be able to relax, and now there's these girls
Great,
here.
I've got to act.
I got to do shit now.
If it was me, I'd be like, can you guys fucking leave? Like, nothing is going on here. Like, after 10 minutes of just me and you staring at him, expecting something to happen.
It's good any minute now.
I also had one where I was going through the rooms the second night during a big scene, and I walked into a room, and one of the like people in masks who were like the ushers kind of was on her phone, and she had to turn her phone off.
That's really
I walked
funny.
into her on her phone.
And honestly, screenagers.
And I was like, hey girl, fair enough.
And to that I say screenagers. Wow. Oh my God. Okay, so the other thing, really wild, change the topic, but we have to talk about it because we've been getting requests on the Instagram to comment on Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry date night in Montreal.
Did you see that he went to her show too?
Yeah, looking at her like a lover.
I know.
Just stars in his eyes. I'm kind of a fan of it. Two kind of like fallen angels getting together.
It really makes sense. I am not really a fan of either of them for their actions, but it really, when it happened, I was kind of like, oh yeah.
It does make sense.
You're right. They're two fallen angels, very kind of like theater kid, but too rich and privileged to ever be with somebody normal or interesting. Like, there's no hope for them being normal. There's nothing. No. Like, he participates in he was the head of our government, refused to give Indigenous people clean drinking water after agreeing to do it. Well,
and she refused to give us a good album.
And she went to space.
2012.
She went to space.
She
got
did
problems.
go to space. I almost forgot Katy Perry went to space. Wow, this
never
year
forget.
has had a lot of things happen in it.
Lots of amazing things have been happening. So I can see, like, they do kind of make sense to me, but it's very random and very public.
Yes.
Like, it's weird to me how public it is. I wonder how long it's been going on, or if they're just like, well, hey.
Well, that's the tea where it's just like, it was such a, okay, so like, as you know, they went on a walk with her dog, a 90-minute walk. Okay, then they went to La Violon.
Yeah.
La Violon. The restaurant, which is like a popular restaurant, okay?
Yeah, I remember reading online, somebody was like, this is like trendy. Like, this is like a trendy restaurant.
So this is not date one. Respectfully.
You don't go on a 90-minute walk with a dog on day one. Like, that can't
And then
be
they
happening.
went and had a nightcap at like another trendy spot. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
and then now he's watching her perform, but like not from the wings. Because that's the thing that always kind of makes me, not like sus, but I'm like, oh, you want to be seen, where it's like, Olivia Rodrigo's boyfriend will post Instagrams from like backstage. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, because like at a certain point, like you just are like, well, I'll watch backstage. People aren't watching me watch you, you know?
Yeah.
But Justin Trudeau, front and center, watching her perform Firework, stars in his damn eyes. Insane.
I kind of like it just in the way that, like, I think that we kind of need to be actively fighting the Trump politician of it all by just like having politicians be like weirdos who get with pop stars again. I think we haven't had that in a while, and I think it would like kind of help us reset how we think about politicians. Not that I'm even like a fan of, again, I'm not a fan of either of them for their actions. However, I do think just like tonally, we kind of need that right now.
I agree. And this is the thing of like, this is the kind of Justin Trudeau I felt like I was promised and never ever really got when he was in office.
Yes.
Because he was very like pretty, his whole promise was like, I'm like pretty boy, I'm cool. I'm actually a cool prime minister. You know, I'm young,
cool guy.
I'm not like other prime ministers. And then he just was like every other fucking prime minister.
Yeah.
Sat
he was
his
like,
ass.
He was hotter.
Yeah. And that's it. And oh, what steep competition that is next to Batty John A. McDonald. It's like fucking Canadian politics, specifically prime ministers. It's grenade after damn grenade. The ugliest of the ugly. So it's like, you know, yeah, you're the hottest person of some ugly fucking people. Like, congratulations.
I know. I do think, like, in general, obviously Canadian politics has some major issues that we love to bring up on this podcast.
Yep.
But I do think Canada's doing a good job just like modeling politically how not to be crazy while still being kind of like a skeezy politician.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because it's very like one half America, one half Europe, right? So it's like you can still campaign and whatever and be a crazy politician without being like bringing forth the demise of democracy, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're not good.
Who would have thought?
I'm not a Mark Carney stan, but like I have to agree that he's not making things objectively worse in the way that a lot of politicians are. He wants to keep them as bad as they've always been.
Yeah, he's just like doing what is expected of him slightly better than like, you know, I'd say I'm like fairly happy with him right now. The clip of Doug Ford, who's the premier of Ontario, talking about...
And you must know who Doug Ford is if you've listened to this podcast.
If you listen to this podcast, the way we rag on this guy.
Cannot get Doug Ford's name out of our goddamn mouth. Like, we can't... Carly and Blair don't talk about Doug Ford challenged. Impossible. Impossible. Like, we can't... We talk about him more than I feel like anything else on this podcast.
It's actually crazy how much he comes up. I feel like we need to start branding as like a political podcast.
Yeah.
But like not where we like kind of have any real takes. We just kind of like gossip about Doug Ford.
Yeah, we're like, so what Doug Ford's done this week?
Yeah, exactly. But him being like,
he's the premier, so it's like a governor. If you don't know, he's like the governor of our province.
Yeah, so he's like second down in leadership role from like a prime minister, except there's like whatever, a bunch of them.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I guess like he was like, Mark Carney came up to my cottage and we sat up till midnight by the fire solving all the world's problems. He's a humble guy. That Mark Carney's a humble guy. And I'm like, as cringy as that is, it's like, that is nice that like they're different political parties and they're not just like tweeting about each other. That's nice.
Well, the thing about Canadian conservatives and they're kissing by the fire for hours. And this is the thing that's very strange, I think, about Canadian politics. Not strange, but like is good. Is I think ultimately good is like
it's pointed.
Yeah, beyond the People's Party of Canada, our alt-right party, full of people who are brain dead. We have our fair share of conspiracy theorists, but they don't have a chokehold because it's not a two-party system. All the crazies are kind of, for the most part, not always, but like a lot of them are kind of off into the corner over here. So then our big conservative politicians are evil, for sure evil. But Doug Ford is evil in the way that he just wants to help his developer buddies keep poor people out of their fucking buildings. Like, you know what I mean? Which is evil, but he's not like anti-Semitic, like raging racist in the same way. Like, he's a dummy.
Yeah.
He's a dummy and he is ignorant. So he has ignorant takes, but he's not like using QAnon talking points to radicalize his followers in the way that he's just like, no, I'm going to be transparently evil in these ways.
Yes. I'm going to be just kind of like a bad guy.
Yeah.
But like not really kind of like not really set out to like kill or harm anyone's life.
Yeah, it's just so strange because like that should be bad, but the bar has been so low.
Yeah,
that
the bar's
him like
beyond
developing parkland to make a mega spa.
Like, well, he could be killing thousands. So
it's exactly that. I'm like, well, he hasn't deployed the National Guard to arrest civilians.
Yeah,
he's not
arrest children.
Weaponizing ICE. He doesn't have the Mounties out there on their horses kicking down immigrants. Like, I guess he's a king. I love him. I guess I love King Doug Ford because the bar is so low that his evilness is now preferable to the normal brand of evilness, i.e., genuine supervillain, racist conspiracy theories.
How did I get here? Where the hell am I?
I miss the days in which we could just all hate Stephen Harper.
I know. Dude, he used to be at Queen's University all the time because his son played on the volleyball team. So there was a period in my life where every single person I knew had a picture with Stephen Harper.
That's awesome.
How annoying is I always have
former conservative prime minister of Canada before Justin Trudeau.
Yeah. Because he was just like watching his son play volleyball. I'm like, why?
He was
out of here.
And you know, you got to give Stephen Harper some credit. Stephen Harper was genuinely evil.
He was. If Stephen Harper had been in power, even like a smidgen closer to Trump,
Canada would be over. Canada would be done.
We'd be done. We'd be the states. We'd be the 51st
would be the
state.
Like, he started that that hotline that was basically like, if you see a brown person in your neighborhood being suspicious, i.e., if you are racist and see a brown person in your neighborhood, you can call this number to report them. Like, I forget what it was called, but it was like basically a task force post 9/11 to be racist on the phone.
And you know what? The innovation post 9/11 can't be matched. What if we had a telephone line for racists? What if we just had somewhere where they could phone?
Guys, we need to have a hotline for racists to call so we can pick up and listen to them.
And let's take it away from the suicide hotlines. They don't need any more money.
They don't need it anymore. We need
the
it for
racists.
Need
help. Yeah. The racists really need people to talk
support.
To. It's a hard life.
And he also played in a Beatles cover band and he played the keys.
Okay, that's not even like a real position on the Beatles, so no respect there.
No.
What the fuck you mean you played the keys in a Beatles cover band? What is this, fucking like Earth, Wind, and Fire? Fuck off.
I know. So anyways, that's us catching. I know you guys really wanted to hear the tea on Stephen Harper.
But yeah, let's take a little break and then let's get into the topic.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Sophia, give us a song.
Why don't you meow?
Meow, Sophia.
Meow.
Meow. That's really good. That's
how she meows. She goes,
Meow.
ready? Get in front of her and then I touch her. Come on. You're being so quiet. Usually you're so
embarrassed.
Chatty. She's being shy.
Embarrassed.
She's shy.
She's shy.
Come on. Oh, wow. Well, I tried.
It's okay. No, you made a valiant effort.
She's just being so shy right now, which is so funny. She screamed. She's been so chatty recently. Like, Reese and I will be talking and she'll just be like, and now you're quiet. Now you're dead quiet.
Damn, Sophia, who are you? I can't find Jim. We've been looking all over for Jim. I don't know where the fuck she's gone.
Well, Jim's found a new hiding spot, I guess.
Oh, yeah. She's been hiding behind the DVD player in the media unit, which is honestly frightening.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, are you ready to get into the topic?
Let's talk about it.
Okay, because I haven't told you what it is yet.
I know you've even labeled we're doing a remote record, and usually you can title what it is. You will title it what it is, but you've just titled this meeting room August 3rd.
Yeah, I feel like you think it's going to be a more exciting topic than it is, but
it's fun to be surprised.
I also need to know that like I wrote this script while in the midst of moving, basically, and then I haven't looked at it since, so we don't need to say anything.
I'm excited.
But the topic for today is the Great Emu War.
Oh, yes. Okay, I don't know a lot about this, but I have had people since we started the podcast be like, you should do this. Because the emus won, right?
The emus won the war. Which is crazy.
Which I'm obsessed with.
Trigger warning, I feel like it's implied. Trigger warning, animal deaths. You know.
It's a war. It's war.
It's a war. There's going to be some casualties. But yeah, I wanted to do it because I was looking for a topic. And then I was like, this has been in my notes forever as like possible kind of like side episodes. And what a perfect time. And I consumed. That's a good idea.
I should do that. Like have a possible kind of episode notes.
Yeah, I have mine from forever ago. I haven't added to it in a long time because I think we've been just like pretty kind of like we've been hive-minded. I feel like more now than before. We're but now I'm like, okay, it should be because now that we've got to come up with the next couple seasons, I think.
Yeah, we got to have a big old meet. We'll have a September kind of new school year meeting.
Quarterly meeting.
Oh, my eyes.
Quarterly business. Oh, no.
I just have one hand, so it's tough right now. She's lying on my full arm and hand.
Oh, God. Okay.
Ready? Here, I'll put this down so we can show on the video what she looks like.
Oh my God. She makes me want to cry. She's just a beautiful old lady. Oh, are you touching the cat then touching your eye? Because I do that and it fucks me up real good.
Why, yes.
So one thing I'll say is that I primarily researched the Great Emu War through watching video essays on the Great Emu War.
Hey.
And it's
primary source.
The scale of how seriously people take it is really interesting because obviously just the name of it sounds like a huge joke. And then other people, especially like the Australian sources, are like, this was really a moment for us
when we were
here
losing
in Australia.
The war.
So TLDR, the Great Emu War was when the Australians declared war on the emu population, and the emus won.
Emus are like ostriches, kind of.
Yeah, they're like ostriches, just like what people can picture. Scarier.
Like if you're picturing what animal you're picturing, if you don't know what an emu is, it's like an ostrich, but it's kind of scarier.
Yeah.
They're kind of llama adjacent to me in that they don't fuck around. Like a llama will spit into your eye, you know? And I feel like that's kind of emu adjacent.
They've also got that quality.
Emu?
I've been saying emu, but I feel like it might be emu.
Okay.
Australians correct us in the comments. But
Nor,
you're saying it wrong. I'm not even gonna
I don't know if that's I'm not sure if that's Australian.
One time I did a student written play that was we were supposed to do New Zealand accents, and these Australian exchange students came in to help us. And at the end, they were just like, you know what, guys, just do your best. And I was like, damn, we really were bad.
That's tough. That's tough.
So let's get into it, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So it's 1930. Okay. It's the 1930s.
Damn, okay.
What is this? It's the Great Depression. Boom. So Australia is particularly hit very hard by the Great Depression because they rely almost entirely on exports due to them like being a colony.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've also recently introduced their own currency, the Australian dollar. And here's the thing. I'm not an economist, but what they basically done is they've tied their currency to the British pound that's based on like the gold standard kind of thing. So like they are like basically like we have a new currency and Britain's like, oh, okay, like kind of like loop it in with our pound and then like we'll like help you when we build up the pound and then the pound falls and then because Australian dollar is even,
then the Australian dollar is really worthless. Yeah.
And the Australian dollar is even like less powerful than the British pound, obviously. So they basically just like tank it. They're like, come with us. And then they ditch pretty much. Out of all of Australia's farmers were hit the worst. Australia did a thing similar to what they did in Canada, which is after World War II, when the soldiers returned, the government had given them land for farming as sort of like they would make them do like an application. Then they'd be like, okay, cool. Here's some land. You have to farm it. But many of the farmers, because of this, they left to find work in the cities.
Okay.
Also, just as like a side note before we feel like, you know, too bad for these farmers, there were over 800 Indigenous Australian men who served in the war. And out of that, only 3 of them had applications approved for farming land.
Bad.
And a lot of them had their farming land that they had previously to the war taken away to be given to these soldiers returning from the war.
Oh, great. All around. That's the thing. Whenever people are like, here's some free land, you're like, okay.
So whose land is it?
Was it before?
Whose land was that? So the thing that they didn't say when they were giving away this land was that it was in Western Australia and the land was shit. Like it was basically like totally unfarmable. Yeah. They were like
dry ass land.
Yeah, really similar to Canada where they were like, here, have some land to farm. It's the fucking desolate winter 80% of the year. Good luck. And we've stolen it from the Indigenous, by the way.
Yeah. You know, we're not so different that way, Canadians and Australians.
We're kind of two sides of the same sad coin.
Everyone's pissed. Everyone's pissed, and nobody did a good job.
Yeah, except Australians are like prisoners, and Canadians are like poor people.
And like royal sympathizers. I always remember like so many people when it's like, how did you get to Canada? It's like, well, my family came to America and then got pissed during the revolution and left.
I'll say nothing of my family, but United Empire loyalists. Okay, so that's team 1, okay, is the Australians. That's where they're currently at. They're depression, they're farming, terrible land.
They're humans.
They're humans. Australia is, you know, still kind of this like newer country. Also, like Australia has a quality that I think is kind of memeified a lot, but like truly things in Australia look like nowhere else in the world. Mm-hmm. Like it is such a different vibe there. Like it almost feels more prehistoric. You know what I mean? Just like in terms of like the land and the animals and stuff, the fauna and the flora. Definitely.
And it's very intense weather-wise. Like Australia is the great outdoors, even if you're like in Sydney. I'm like, I remember famously my friend became an au pair there during the pandemic. And the shit she'd post on her Instagram story would be like, ha 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 ha. And it'd be like the biggest fucking bug I've ever seen in my goddamn life just in her apartment. Like, cool. There are very few places, not very few, but like there's not a lot of places that are like, you know, former European colonies that I have a lot of knowledge on that has like worse weather. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, this weather is nuts. Like these people are rugged. God. And like you said before, like it was a former penal colony. So like the people there are pretty
penal
tough.
Colony.
Pretty tough.
Penal colony.
A penal colony.
So enter team 2, the emu. This is Australia's national bird.
Great.
Which, first of all, is crazy.
Loving
they have
that.
like on their crest, it's like an emu and a kangaroo, and it's like those are two really scary animals.
Kangaroos are fucking terrifying, dude.
I know. So emus are often over 6 feet tall.
Loving
they
that.
are usually
is he
well
single?
over 100 pounds. No.
Wait, is he single?
Is he single? But is
he's
he single?
over 6 feet tall and well over 100 pounds?
Is he
give
single?
me his number?
It's giving Reese.
Yeah.
Emus can also run up to 40 miles an hour.
Oh my God.
So this is a huge
so
bird.
Fast.
Imagine Reese is a bird and he's just running faster, like the fastest thing you've ever seen.
As fast
like
as a car.
Fast
basically.
as a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Horrifying.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Australians don't like these guys. They're generally seen as like a pest. They also have been known to eat them. So I don't.
Who's eating who?
Well, I think it goes both ways in this case. But I think that emu they would serve up occasionally.
Okay.
So the emus
they're kind of
time,
like monstrous Canadian geese, I feel like, in vibe. Where it's like Canadian geese I don't want to fuck with ever. They're vicious and terrifying, but they're geese. So it's like as long as you don't get near them to antagonize them, they're not going to like catch up to you and fuck with you. But if a Canadian goose was 6 feet tall, I'm done. What am I supposed to do?
Well, yeah, like even like when we were at the beach the other day and we saw those swans, I was like, that's terrifying. Those are huge.
Give them a wide berth.
Yeah. But yeah, I was thinking that like the Canadian goose is probably the closest vibes wise that I could think of between like, I couldn't even think of like for the States or for Britain or anything. I was like, this is giving Canada goose where it's like, we claim it as like an animal of our country, but we're also like, fuck these guys. Fuck these guys. I do not give a shit about these geese.
Yeah, there's a very like I'm sure that in like the States and other places like I wonder if there's something that's more regional that's the equivalent of something that is
I'm
like
sure.
You know, oh, this is a bird that represents us, but also is like Canadian geese are so fucking mean. They're so
awful.
mean. They'll bite you.
They just
they'll
shit
chase
all the time.
you. They shit everywhere. It's really amazing. I love that essay that John Green has in the Anthropocene Reviewed about Canadian geese, about how like we hate Canadian geese because Canadian geese are kind of low-key us. Like we hate animals that thrive in environments after we've basically terraformed the entire environment.
Yes.
Like Canadian geese do well in the environment that we have, similar to pigeons or whatever, right? Like people are like, oh, pigeons are disgusting. And it's like, well, pigeons can just live in environments that we've created.
Yeah, and it's like, no, but you don't understand. I don't want you here.
Well,
like we built this area not
for
you
humans
to be
only.
Here.
Humans only. Where I love seeing tourists come in and be like, "Oh my God, I'm going to feed like the squirrels. I'm going to feed the pigeons. I'm going to feed the geese." And I'm like, "Back up! You're going to get bit.
You're still in Canada. You're still in Canada at the end of the day.
They will bite the fuck out of you."
So the emus at this time would usually breed in Western Australia, like in the inland, and they would return to the coast after breeding season. So after they kind of like have a big old emu orgy, they would hit back on the coast, much like a summer in Florida. But then with all this kind of new farming happening in Western Australia, they were like, well, this place is now like full of food. Why would we leave? Because there's like wheat crops and shit.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to eat this. And so they would come in and they'd eat the crops. They would like knock down the fences, like cause damage to the land, eat all the
fucking
food.
huge. And they're traveling in groups.
Yes, they are. They're traveling in these huge packs. And then once they've
so
kind of like
scary.
weakened the infrastructure, like other animals will come through and fuck with the crops. And also crops are super valuable this time because it's A, the depression, B, it's desolate farmland, and C, it's that.
It's crops. It's crops.
It's crops. It's crops, baby. So around this time, 20,000 emus they cause damage in the millions and including lost crops. And the farmers are already struggling. And then they take this massive hit of like, well, we have to rebuild the farms and we've lost all our crops. We can't sell anything.
Yeah.
So in 1932, the farmers band together and they're like, okay, well, like this simply can't continue. And instead of going anywhere else in the government, they go straight to the Minister of Defense, George Pierce, which is really funny.
Is this not defense? Is this what we need defense? What?
Well, this is the thing, because they're just kind of like, we are all guys who just did the war. You know, they're like mostly like returning soldiers.
We're not traumatized. Great.
And they've also been in the war, and they're like, look, there's machine guns now. We want machine guns so we can shoot the fuck out of these emus because, like, yeah, that's how you're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
So they want to go to war with the emus, basically, is what they say. They say, we want you to come in with machine guns.
We need to go to war.
And kill these emus. So Pierce, who's the Minister of Defense, makes the farmers sign this document saying that the farmers would cover the cost of this war and that Pierce wouldn't be blamed if it failed. Like, they're basically saying, like, we take this on and we're going to pay for it kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're kind of saying, like, so this ends up being basically them being like, are we allowed to go to war with them, right? If they're covering the cost of it and stuff, then it's like,
yeah, so this is the other thing that's kind of like an interesting little tidbit that, like, I had to dig a little bit more to find info on, because I think people like to skirt over this because it adds kind of like another level of confusion to this kind of like obscene thing that happened, which is that the Western Australia was like very unhappy with the Australian state, and they were talking about seceding. Like, they wanted to be their own country. They wanted to like break off from Australia. And so at the time, there was a pressure in the government to kind of show up for Western Australia and be like, look, we're like,
don't
gonna
succeed
help you guys
from
out.
us. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And people in general were pretty unhappy with the government. And so they also saw this as like, well, this is like a pretty easy way to show that like the government's helped. They sent in like a camera crew to follow this, you know, because they basically sent in a general and 2 guys with machine guns to do this war. And they sent them with like a camera crew because they were like, we're going to get great propaganda footage of like the great nation of Australia helping the citizens, because like they're just going to wipe out these emus. The farmers are going to be happy. We're going to have a bunch of footage and everyone's going to be hunky dory on their way. And we're just going to be like, oh, wasn't that a silly time when we had to kill all those birds?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the other layer that was kind of going on. So the first battle occurred in November of 1932 in a place called Campion, Australia.
Loving that it's called a battle. Obsessed that it's a battle.
They are called battles. And honestly, for all intents and purposes, like, yeah, these are battles. So the general and his men spotted a bunch of emus from a distance, and they basically set up guns from a distance to shoot at these emus. But what emus do when they're attacked is that they split up into groups and they just run in every single direction, like super fast in every direction. It's not like they all like pack together and run off in a herd. They just like totally split up.
Yeah,
and dash away. So many of the emus were able to take multiple bullets and still run away. And there's a quote that some guy said where it's just like, if our tanks had like the bullet taking ability of these emus, we would win every war. Because these emus would get shot multiple times and they'd still just run away. They'd be like, yeah, whatever. Just 50 cents in this bitch. Like, Jesus. So the vast majority of these emus got away. They killed a few, but yeah. Then they were like, okay, well, like we can't, you know, sneak up on the emus from like a distance. So let's try and get them at like a watering hole. So they find a group of
huge strategy.
Huge strategy. So they sneak up on the emus at a watering hole. So they're like super close range. And then both guns jammed after 12 emus were killed and the rest got away.
We need to get these emus some guns.
Yeah, the emus had no guns. The emus just had their feet and their feathers.
Yeah.
So then the men moved further south and they failed again. They were like, okay, we need to chase these emus because they're really fast. So they put a guy with a machine gun in a car, like in the back of a car, and they tried to chase the emus with the car while the guy was shooting. But the car couldn't keep up to the speed of the emus, and the terrain was so bumpy, the guy was bouncing around and couldn't shoot his gun.
Wow, not a good look for humans.
No, they also at one point like fully crashed a car because they were trying to chase the emus and the emus all got away. Yikes. So it's not great. So obviously at this time they were facing major media backlash because they were funneling money into
fucking it up. Yeah.
They're fucking up the emu. They're losing the war against the emus so badly. They're also documenting it all. So there's like footage proof of them just failing to kill emus.
And it's worth saying the emus have no weapons. Like, you're fucking it up and the emus can't even really fight back.
No, they're birds. They're literally birds. So the House of Representatives were obviously unimpressed, and Pierce withdrew on the 8th of November. So it's a bit of a short time. And he's like, no. There's also something where, like, one of the reasons why he convinced the House of Representatives to let him do this was that he was like, I'm going to make y'all some nice feather hats out of these dead emus, which is just like a fun tidbit that kept coming up.
Yeah. And then they were like, well, it doesn't seem like we're getting our feather hats anytime soon. So
yeah,
please withdraw.
Yeah. It's like, this is kind of getting expensive for a couple hats.
Yeah.
So the farmers came back 4 days after that. So Pierce withdraws the army or the
two guys,
the two guys with big guns from the battle on the 8th of November. And then 4 days later, the farmers come back and they're like, look, it's still happening. The emus are still here. This is terrible. We want you to try again. And then Pierce is like, sure, I'll try again, which is a crazy.
You were told no.
Yeah. You were told no. And then people were like, please. It's like, oh,
okay.
I can't say no to you guys. So they were more successful after the second attempt, and they started killing like 300 emus a week is the estimate.
Damn.
But by this time, the media had lost interest, and kind of just like the heat of the thing had blown over kind of thing. So they had, at the end of the day, there was an estimated 1,000 emus were killed, and they burned through 10,000 rounds of ammunition.
Jesus.
So out of what was the number? The 20,000 emus, they killed 1,000 emus and went through 10,000 rounds of ammunition.
Damn.
So when they went back to the House of Representatives, they were like, check it out, we killed 1,000 emus. And they were like, okay, so out of 20,000?
How many rounds did you do? But also, how many rounds did that take you?
Yeah, exactly. So you had to use 100 rounds of ammunition or 10 rounds of ammunition for every emu killed.
Yeah. 10.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So the government wasn't happy, and they were basically like, okay, so it sounds like the emus won this war because they're still thriving. And eventually, around this time, it was unclear. I found different answers for when this happened, but the government also introduced like a bounty system for getting rid of the emus. So people could basically bring in the head of an emu and get money. And that worked a lot better.
Yeah, because you're incentivizing it as opposed to having two random guys who seem, I'll say it, bad at their jobs. I think these guys are uniquely ill-suited for this.
But yeah, so that's the Great Emu War.
That's sad, but
in
also
a nutshell.
Funny.
It's funny in the way that, like,
I was hoping there was more emu on human crime. It was kind of what I was hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, the emus just really got away. I mean, like, they did commit crime, I would say, is that they really fucked up these farmers' lives.
Yeah, fair enough.
And they did crash a car.
Oh, that's true.
It's just such an interesting case of like humans fighting nature and failing, which is why I think it's so fun and pervasive.
And yeah, why people keep thinking about it, because there's this idea, just like your general kind of belief system as a human is being like, you should be able to. Are you a fucking idiot? Like, we're smarter. We use tools.
Yeah, humans we should be able to fight nature.
No,
we actually can't. But yeah, that's all I have for you today.
Thank you
just
for
a little
doing
ditty
that.
on the emo war.
A little ditty.
Just a little ditty on the emo war. But next week we should be back in the swing of things. Back to the Kennedys, because now I've moved.
You've moved.
I've moved. If you can see my lovely new wall. If you're on video.
It's so nice. Blair's a nice apartment.
Thank you. It's full of boxes and crap right now, but
well, yes, of course.
Isn't that the way the cookie crumbles?
Definitely. The cookie crumbles.
The crumble cookie crumbles. Do you want to do our little thing?
Yes. Let's make this tragedy about us.
Okay, Carly, you're waging war on a force of nature. What is it?
Oh, okay, great question.
Can be an animal, can be an element, can be land.
Okay, I would love to wage war on overcast.
Yes, that's such a good answer.
Either rain or sun. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm. No, like when it's like kind of threatening to rain for a full day.
But it's not.
And you're like, rain. Now I have depression.
I just don't want there to be, especially like living in Canada where like there's just no sun in the winter. And I'm like, I would just rather it be sunny and cold, but I don't have any fucking sun. I'm so depressed. I'm waging a war on overcast days. Figure it out.
That's a really good answer.
What about you?
Really good answer. I think like tree allergens.
That's great.
Like, I think it would be kind of like guerrilla style warfare of planting like trees that fruit so that like allergies get less bad.
Definitely. And that's a win-win. It's like, I want free fruit and I don't want allergies.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Because the way I have allergies 9 months of the year.
Yeah, it doesn't feel... I would also extend this to the wasps that all come out at the end of August.
War on the wasps.
I don't know what the situation is in other parts of the world, but at the end of August, basically wasps, their queen dies, and they all get kicked out of the nest, and they just kind of fuck around and sting the fucking shit out of you at the end of August. They're everywhere. There's just hundreds of thousands of them everywhere, and they're terrifying. Bananas. And they're mean. They're not bumblebees. You know what I mean? No. Bees get a bad rap. They don't want to sting you unless they're dying, because they die if they sting you. Wasps don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck.
That's a good answer. Mm-hmm. I also feel like anything that's like too hilly without a downhill.
You just
like you know when you're like in a place that's like inexplicably only uphill.
Yeah, and you're like, but surely it has to go down eventually. No.
Like, I'm fine with a hill as long as you get a bit of up and down action. It's like when it seems to just go upwards.
Yeah, that's tough.
What's up with that? Though I will say one time, this is just a short little kind of side tangent, but I don't consider myself someone who's like overly in shape. But when I was in Newfoundland last year, it's a very hilly city. Mm-hmm. And I went on a walking tour with a bunch of people from a cruise ship. And I felt like an Olympic athlete.
You were Usain Bolt.
I literally was like, and it wasn't even like they were like older or like obese or like anything like that. It was like teenagers were like, like couldn't get up the hills. And I was like, respectfully,
where are you guys from? Like,
what the hell do you do? Like, how many years have you been on this boat?
Like, it's the boat from Wall-E. They're on the Wall-E. They're just sat.
I know. And there was this one, there were like 2 women on it who again were like maybe mid-30s, who like, again, like very like nothing about them would imply, like obviously people have like invisible disabilities. I strongly do not think this was the case.
Well, but because everybody on the ship was like this. You were like, it wasn't just these people. It was all of them.
It wasn't like it was like 2 people, but like everyone on the ship. It was crazy. Me and my friend were there, and we were like, "Are we like actually in amazing shape or something?" Because like we are the only people walking up this hill without looking like we're gonna have a heart attack.
A lot of people. I don't know. Yeah, continue.
Oh no! Just at one point, these 2 women, the like tour guide, stood up on like this like bench thingy to kind of like talk about where we were, and these 2 women sat directly in front of him because it was the only place to sit.
What's going on? Where are they from? Are they it must be car centric. Like they just must not be used to like a walk.
I guess. They were all Americans, which I hate to say. I hate to say that they were all Americans, but it is the truth.
You know, there's a bit of a car centricness there unless you're living in a big city.
Yeah.
You're driving everywhere.
It was giving suburban America.
Which we love. Which nothing but love and light to suburban America.
Yeah, love and light to suburban America, but y'all can't do hills.
Can't do hills.
Sorry, what were you going to say also? I fully interrupted you.
I forget. It probably wasn't important. I think I was saying the car-centric side, being like a lot of people are from places where they just don't. I realize like they don't walk. Yeah. It's like when everyone's like, oh my God, in Europe, I feel like I'm so skinny in Europe. And it's like, you're walking around, babe. You're walking around. You're just walking. Huge news. You're walking.
I know. You've actually made an amazing discovery called physical movement, and
it's called physical. It's called daily movement with purpose. It's called not just running on a treadmill for 15 minutes looking at the wall. It's called walking to where you need to be, and it's massive.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like anti-treadmill.
I'm just like go someplace.
I just don't really believe that is the same as walking around.
Yeah,
because like, what if you're never gonna have an obstacle?
Yeah, it's very like this is the one place. It makes sense in a way. Like, is Christina disagreeing with you?
Yeah, Christina's pissed. They should invent a treadmill with obstacles. It's because Christina loves treadmill.
Yeah,
Christina loves treadmill and fake bike.
Here's where I get treadmill. If you live someplace here where you want to go, like here, and you want to go on a run, but proper running weather is 4 months of the year. 2 months in the fall, 2 months in the spring, and
Sure.
that's it. Every time it's you cannot run otherwise. I get treadmill for that.
Yes. I don't understand people who are like, I'm gonna treadmill. Like, if you have to do work or something, you have a walking pad. I like that. I might get it. Maybe I'll be in my walking pad era and I'll eat my words one day. But like people who are just like, tonight I needed some exercise, so I walked on the treadmill. It's like, girl, go outside.
Yeah, I will say, going to places. I remember going when we went to the Orlando Comedy Festival, and we got our hotel. Our hotel was like a 10-minute walk from the location, but it was a 10-minute walk through a full parking lot and then on the side of the freeway. Where I am like, unless you live in a neighborhood, I'm like, how the fuck do y'all walk anywhere here? Like,
well, it is like so I famously moved into my new house 2 days ago. As of today.
Crazy.
As of day of filming, which is bananas. I've been here 2 nights. But there's one walk to like a TTC stop that I have to get most places. And there's one portion of the walk that's just not even like across a parking lot, but like in front of a parking lot. And the way it is easily the longest part of the walk, even though it maybe takes 2 minutes to do it. Because it's so desolate and wide, it's just like there's nothing to look at. Like you can't look at the windows. You're always like afraid you're gonna get hit by a car. There's always like 2 teenagers making out, and it's scary and strange.
It really is that. It's like the desolateness of it. Of like you're not just like, oh, I'm walking to the next thing. It's like it's a much longer without anything to really look at or keep you occupied.
So I do feel for that. I saw a video of the new way that they're like, and probably not everyone's doing this, but like there's this like new style of suburb where like one side is the houses and then there's like the backside, which is like the garages and stuff. And then like it's all based on like walkability. So, and they'll like build in like stores into the houses, like into these like subdevelopments. And I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, we need to create an in the middle because we now basically have like everything is so one way or the other where it's like even if you don't like living in a city, but like if you like walking and like not having to drive everywhere and like being able to see people on the daily, a city is your option. But why not have like a little suburb that's like a community?
Well, it's like how like you go to like a little town, like I know like in Oakville they have like, you know, near the water they have a little place, or like Streetsville in Mississauga. It's just cute.
Oh, I love that.
Well,
bye guys. See you next week. Bye.